Okay, it's me, Cindy, and I'm back with the last of the books. This was a book that wasn't supposed to be. My original plan had been to make a 3-signature book, but when I put the 3 signatures inside the cover, they were too fat. The book was just, it would never close. Even with a tight closure of some kind, it was just too bulky. So I separated out some papers from it, gave up one of the signatures, and put 2 signatures each in one book. This cover is again similar but different. There's the bow on the spine, and I really like those. I didn't think I would, but I do. This is a piece. Jackie from Jack's Scraps had sent me some bee stuff. One of the things she sent were some sheets of embossed paper, and so I dragged some distress ink across there so you can see the image. There's a little bit of cheesecloth behind there, another piece of chipboard with the patterned paper on top, and this is another honeycomb necklace, but I took, in this case it was silver instead of gold, and then I had a larger bee that instead of having it hanging inside, I glued it onto there to make it even more visible. So that's the cover. Again, a hitch fastener and an elastic. The same, not the same pattern, but I used the same arrangement of a pocket with the policy envelope on the inside cover. Here I put a piece of lavender paper cardstock, edged with distress ink and a little bit distressed itself, as a place to journal on this really busy paper. This book has a couple of things that sort of are that use the things, first of all, that Jackie sent me. So this one is different in that way, but it also has some things that I did that I was really kind of pleased with, that were fun to do. Just a little bit of a stamped image here. And over here, this is one of those things from Jackie, a piece of duct tape with the honeycomb pattern on. I cut out a bee from the bee calm paper and put on the bottom there, just for why not. This is some of the washi that Jackie sent with the bees on, and it's so cute. I really like it down there. And here is a tuck spot with just one tag. This is the paper that has the it's shiny. It's kind of an embossed look paper. On the back I have another one of my little books. This time I tied a little bit of the fabric torn into a ribbon on the end of a paper clip to keep it in place. This is one of the fun things I did. This is that I did a video last week showing this tag that I made with bees in all the windows or flowers or their honey as a tag. And that goes in there. A little fabric collage with a piece of ribbon and some cheesecloth. There's also some really faint stamping in the distress gold. Not gold. It's actually bleed through from being stamped on this side with the mustard yellow distress ink. Here I did a heat embossed with gold embossing powder down here of the smaller of the 2 honeycomb stamps that I have, and another one of those bees from the bee calm paper. And I didn't do the embossing, but you can see the honeycomb back there. It looks as though it were stamped with a gray ink. A fabric flip with a piece of coffee dyed fabric, and then there's the same fabric from the cover and a little brown bow. This was stamped on. There's also, I don't know if it'll show up in the video, but it's quite easy to see in person, is also stamped with the honeycomb stamp and the mustard to see the ink. This was stitched into place with my sewing machine. This was a little collage that I had originally planned to stitch onto place, but I never did. It's fine. It's just a piece of fabric or paper ribbon with an actual piece of ribbon on top holding it in place. Some embossing with gold embossing powder and a little image of a bee cut out from the pattern paper. Again, you can see the embossing through on the back side. This is the distress ink stamping. Some more washi. Glassine bag, and this tag just has a little strip of the paper attached and some of the ribbon. Actually, I think this is a dollar store ribbon, crocheted trim, and so I let that little tag speak for itself through the glassine bag. Here's one of my little pockets with the 3 little tags. This is a torn pocket, so I just edged it all with, or the top edge with distress ink. A little side pocket here, and a big tag. Put that back in there. And it doesn't want to go in. And on the back side, this was a really heavily, very fragile coffee-dyed paper, and so I ended up having to do some clever sort of surgery on it with that tag, or that flip on the back, or the tuck rather. And I wanted to make it usable here because it was so brittle, but I loved the look of it, so I put another piece of the bee comb paper, just a stamp of the queen bee. A belly band with a couple of tags. This bottom one has some fabric, some of the fabric from the cover on. And we're up to the second signature. On this last page, it's just a tag and one of the coffee-dyed yellow index cards. Over here is a flip, and that is supposed to be down there. It's one of my little tags that it says B. Just a little strip of the pattern paper, the pattern paper. And on the back is another belly band and a jumbo tag. A little piece of the pattern paper. Pocket. This is another manila folder tag. This is a sheet of coffee-dyed paper that was again going to be kind of brittle to put in there on its own, so I glued it onto this page that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to write on, and folded it in half, and so there's plenty of room to journal there. And on this one, I believe, no, I did some stamping with, it's actually second generation stamping that I stamped it off on a piece of scrap paper, and then stamped it so that the stamping is not that super black ink. Just a little bit of washi, and there's stamping with the distress ink here in the honeycomb pattern. An index card. Actually, there are a couple of cards, a yellow one and a coffee-dyed white one. This is another piece of that fabric, paper ribbon rather, with the piece of the black ribbon attached, and I just pleated them along there, and it's glued into place. Yeah. This is another glassine bag, just a couple of pieces of bee paper cut out, and fussy cut, and a little tag with a brown polka dotted ribbon. More stamping. I didn't realize how much of that I'd done. Another jumbo tag, and an alterations tag behind. and I have them tied together. Up here is a bulb pin and one of those same bee embellishments that wants to lie on the wrong side. But I think it's, oh, I get it, yeah. It's the bulb pin that's on the wrong side. There we go. So that's just a piece of fabric and some of the shiny ribbon. And then it's all pinned together. Some more of that second generation stamping. This was kind of fun. It took me a long time to do because I kept having to punch out, or die cut more and more of this paper to get it right. I wanted to cover up the raw edge, so I made the hole and attached vellum on the back side. Then I made a frame around this side, and so there was twice I stamped, or I cut this hole. Then on the back side, after I attached the vellum, I realized I needed another frame. So that was 3 times I had to die cut. I think there's a better way to do it, but I didn't come up with it. That's just the way I did it. But I really like the look of being able to see that through there, and I think it makes a fun little feature. So there's the stamp. There's a pocket behind and a grid index card and a tag. This is another fun little thing I put together. It's just all the holes that I cut out. There were 3 of them. And I attached them together with one of those little plastic clips that I got from Tuesday Morning a couple of weeks ago. And just made that. This side of the paper is very much, you're able to write on it. You could actually attach a little photo or something like that, or a ticket, something like that on the paper there. Flip with some, why can't I remember that, cheesecloth, and a little bit of yellow ribbon, and a little bit of the black ribbon as well, and it's attached into place right through the paper. No, it's not. It didn't go through the paper. I attached them together with a memo pen and then glued the whole thing down so that the memo pen wasn't jabbing out into the paper. This is just some embossing here with gold embossing. Another little flip-up booklet. Little tag that says honey on the honey page, and that's the end of the second signature and the last of the book. Again, I didn't put anything on the inside back cover. And there's the closure, and that's the last of my 6 books. Thank you for sticking with me. My light's flashing. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, and come back.